he's a part in basically demonizing him and painting him as this world villain. So I can understand their.
I just figured I'd go live here real quick. I've got all this crap set up, but I don't have time to fire it all up and get it going. I'm sitting here trying to watch the Trump rally, and damn if he didn't get shot in the ear. Then it looks like they tried to shoot him in the head.
They're all live right now. They are very concerned right now, and they looked like they were very visibly upset.
That's right. President Trump was almost assassinated just moments ago. Moments ago, President Trump, there was an attempted assassination on President Trump moments ago. I started making phone calls to my other people, and they're like, what now? What? And then I finally hung up and went live. Y'all need to hit thumbs up for this. Now y'all need to hit thumbs up. This needs to go viral. You fucking cocksuckers, you demonic democratic rat bastard motherfuckers. You're so goddamn desperate you're gonna execute this guy? You guys want a fucking civil war in this country? You all really want that civil war in this country? You guys just started it.
Not that long ago, a few minutes ago, President Trump took to the stage, and as he was speaking, this is what happened.
Oh, here you go, right here.
Multiple
right in the ear. Right in the ear.
Saw the president there grab the side of his neck. This would have been on his right side.
And you can hear the shots go off.
People there and the bleachers all going down, trying to see what's going on, moving their heads around. Secret Service, of course, stepped in.
Never surrender.
This took place for several minutes. People kind of saying, where did this come from? And then you see the president moments later, and you see it coming in. You see that
Secret Service.
This Secret Service SWAT team, people coming in, making sure the president's okay. And you see it right there on your screen. And this took place for several minutes. And people didn't know what was going on. I mean, just like you, we're watching this.
And you can hear him on the microphone. Ready, get ready, move. You can hear him talking on the live microphone right there.
On the left side, they face him forward. They're basically barricading him with their bodies, which is what they're supposed to do. And you can
look
see
at him raise his
Trump raising his fist,
just like Reagan,
letting everyone know he's okay. To the supporters in the crowd, as Secret Service, basically builds this wall.
You guys are all going to come in and no thumbs up. That's great.
Protecting the president. You see people there supporting him. They're taking him down the stairs and then towards the motorcade. If we can, guys, and again, I don't want to replay this ad nauseum, but I want to just play it again because I think you kind of get the direction, at least the first part, and then Brian, you can kind of chime in from what you're seeing because you're there on the ground in Pennsylvania. So there, you see the president take his hand and he grabbed it towards his neck, but you could still see the people behind him not knowing where it's coming from. But tell us again, you heard multiple shots. What did they sound like to you, and how were the people around you?
She's laying over and not moving.
Okay, I'll get to what I saw in here in a second, but I'm going to bring in Blake. You might be better known as Brick Suit. You're basically always in the first and four rows. What did you see and what did you hear?
So I was watching the president. I was in the front row, right in the center. Heard the cracks. Didn't want to believe it was gunfire, Brian. Wanted to think it was somebody pulling a really crappy prank. And then from the reactions, obviously it was not. People are just praying for President Trump up there right now.
So what did you personally do when you heard the crackling there? Did you get on the ground?
No, I looked for the sides. I was trying to see where it was coming from. I mean, bad self-preservation instincts on my part, but I was looking towards the sound. and didn't see it. And then when I looked back up towards the podium, that's when I saw the Secret Service members jumping on President Trump to protect him.
Hell yeah.
And this guy's the most selfless individuals we'll ever meet. And then he was
Oh, he
down
did.
on
He
the
got
ground
shot in
for
the
a
ear.
while,
You can
and I
see
was
the
trying
wound
to
right
figure
there.
out
He did get shot in the ear.
from what I could hear, whether or not he was hit or injured, and I did not hear anything about that. Now,
Do we not
when he
have
stood
any
up,
comments
he did
turned
have
on?
blood, it looked like on his right ear.
Yeah, it just
It looked
doesn't
like it was from the
stand.
top of his ear.
Oh, the comments not turned on?
It didn't appear to me that he was bleeding from his ear. He could have cut his head
touched it.
when he was. It could be something else. His hand, it could have been transferred.
No,
might
he
have
got shot
hit
in
his
the
head when
ear.
he
You could
jumped
see
on
him
the
grab his
Secret Service
ear.
at the podium. There's a lot of things that could happen. But when they were
You
holding
can see it
him
bloody
up,
right there.
he was raising his fist.
Yeah.
He was defiant. And I don't see him doing that if he'd been really struck seriously, and I'm praying that he was not.
This is a very
Yeah, the Civil War just started, ladies and gentlemen.
And of course, my phone has been blowing up.
The Civil War in
okay,
America just
but I will
started.
say this: everyone on the media riser immediately went down and got down below. Real quickly, you've heard some of the screaming that people have towards the media riser immediately after this. What's your take on that?
Seriously, it's a gag. I mean, to the extent that there's a bias in the American media, it is with the editors and the people who set the story narrative at the top levels of CNN and other networks like that. It is not the people on this riser. It is not.
Does that camera look
the
familiar?
people. It is not the technicians. So, it's misplaced anger towards how media is unfair to President Trump, but that's from the corporate level down. It's not the people on the riser.
He only got shot in the ear.
Be taken into custody from a police officer.
I did not see anybody being taken into custody. I did see what appeared to be two people hit in the grandstands.
Okay, back in the bleachers. Okay, so Miranda, where we were looking at that in fact was someone that was hit by.
So someone did get shot. I thought. Yeah.
Based upon the reaction, I did not see a person being hit, but based upon the reactions of the people that were near them, it looked to be that somebody was hit. And if you have to look at where they were, if
They were directly behind Trump.
facing straight back from the podium to the riser is 12 o'clock. The shots are possibly coming from 2 and maybe 10. There may have been more than one person.
We did hear multiple shots at this whole time. It was a kind of a cluster, if you will, of shots fired. People around you, what was obviously a big major shock? This is something I've never thought we'd ever witness, especially on live television.
This is how far the Democratic Party were going to go. I have the live feed. I just didn't chance to publish it yet. I was too busy making phone calls
Outrage,
and then going live.
shock, and then prayer and optimism.
Yeah. Real quickly, I'm just reading some text messages we're going to take. I want to toss it over to Jack.
Hello, England.
Sobick. I'm being told from the Trump team that we might want to wrap up our stuff here in precaution. For precautionary reasons, but I'm going to toss. Thank you so much.
Why? It's
I
over.
appreciate it.
Snipers are gone. Listen, they took those shots. If they didn't immediately catch them, they're gone. They're in the wind.
Okay. Hold them up. Hold them up. Yeah, I know. I'm emotional just like you are right now. Jack, can you hear me? I want to get your thoughts on what you just witnessed. Go ahead.
Right. So, Brian, this is
You're
Jack
live on.
calling
Yes.
in. And just going off of my military background, Navy intelligence, obviously, first comes first. This is a massive lapse in security. Secret Services bubble of protection for
Watch
the
this.
president has been
Right in the ear.
Now, that Butler, Pennsylvania rally location, if people were watching the videos earlier today, that's an open
So
field.
somebody back here had to get shot.
Open field rallies are inherently dangerous
Because
to an extent, because you have a situation where people could potentially using long-range rifle fire or some type of long-range implement could possibly be able to take a shot at your primary the primary.
Yeah, one of these people back here had to have got shot.
The idea being that when you're in a stadium, each person that goes into a stadium is checked and rechecked. However, when you're in an open field setting, especially some of those areas, Butler, Pennsylvania, they have the fracking columns, they have the drills, the derricks, etc., the fracking rigs, and so many potential spots for a sniper. That being said, it's still too early to tell exactly what happened. I'm just kind of talking in general about the overall
get him up
posture
and get him
going
moving
into an event like that. Now, obviously, it goes beyond without saying that we have to figure out more information. We have to go through every piece of footage with a fine-tooth comb, as I'm sure the Secret Service and the FBI will be doing so very soon here, as well as getting us an update on the health of Donald Trump, former President of the United States, who has been shot today, we are told. Miraculously, it seems surviving. Now, from the video I was able to see, I should say, that it appears as though the shot nicked him in the upper earlobe.
Yep.
Of course, it's still too early.
That's what I'm saying too.
Some cell phone footage.
Just the fact, though, that we have an attempted assassination attempt,
If that shot had been
the coup,
millimeter or so,
the civil war that is about to break out in this country, ladies and gentlemen, you all better be prepped.
The brain pan, blood,
There's about to be a civil war in this country.
That would easily be a fatal shot, or a shot inducing some type of cerebral paralysis and taking him out, neutralizing him for a long time. Everyone knows who a headshot do. And so this is a situation where you have a massive, massive lapse in presidential security. This is something, obviously, that hasn't happened in decades.
60 years.
We've entered a new era of political violence.
Well, I guess that's not true, because Ford and Reagan were shot at.
Answered about why this security lapse was allowed to take place when you're dealing with a Secret Service.
Yeah, he was shot in the ear. Basically, he was shot in the head. So they missed assassinating him by an inch. It shot him in his ear, which means that was wind drift.
His medical status, we'll find whether or not that's able to go on as scheduled. But first and foremost, obviously, thoughts and prayers with the president and his family. But more importantly, we need to get to the bottom of what happened in the security lapse here today in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Jack Posobiec joining us here on live in Butler, Pennsylvania, to talk about the events that unfolded about 25 minutes ago. Multiple appears to be shots fired. It also appears that the president is okay as far as with the ability to raise his hand and his fist, and got an immediate response from the crowd. But the scene here is still in major disbelief. That they cannot imagine this would happen. Now, Jack added some really great perspective that this is an open field event, and there are, trees, and there are, an area. But typically, from what I've seen, we've seen a good perimeter set up along some of these rallies that are in this open field. So this does really surprise me if, in fact, a shooter came in from outside the perimeter, that it was able to connect. We also have Grant Stinchfield, who is going to join us here real quickly.
Camera operator doesn't know what he's doing.
On what just unfolded here in Butler. Grant, would you ever imagine that you and I would be talking about an attempted, shooting, attempted assassination on a president?
Brian, the sad reality is I can't imagine this. My biggest fear for President Trump has always been that they can't stop him through the courts and they can't stop him at the voting booth, that they would try to kill him. In fact, I had this very conversation with President Trump's son, Don Jr., about how much do you fear about whether or not they will try to take President Trump's life. Now,
since January 7th, I've been worried about it. 4 years now.
I am praying for President Trump. But from watching his reactions to everything, I do believe he's going to be okay. He was bleeding from behind his ear. That means something happened. Whether this was a gunshots, whether this was a series of explosions, whether it was fireworks, we just don't know.
No, it was gunshots.
Certainly we heard the explosion. Certainly President Trump is bleeding from his ear. He is injured, okay? That is
only two thumbs up. Come on, guys.
A major lapse in Secret Service protection, and I love the guys that work Secret Service. They're amazing, but this cannot happen. And as I mentioned, it has been my utmost fear that they would try to take President Trump out this way. Now, let me say something else about the reaction after this unfolded. and going into the 5-10 minutes since it happened, I don't see the heightened sense of urgency that you normally see at a mass shooting. And remember, I was a mainstream general assignment reporter, worked at local TV stations across the country, and I've been at events like this where the heightened sense of urgency is palpable. When you see people sitting around after, not being whisked out, not evacuated, something is off here. I don't know what is off. I don't know what has happened. My ultimate sense, Miranda, I know I hear you there. My ultimate sense is that we just don't know. Clearly he's injured. I do think he's going to be okay with the fist bump. But the lack of that sense of urgency after the series of small explosions, to me it sounded like fireworks. It did not sound like gunshots. But I'm listening to it over the TV and Twitter. And for everybody that doesn't know, I've been around firearms a long time. I worked for the NRA. I train with police departments. I'm certified in basic SWAT, and I'm certified in advanced patrol tactics. By no means do I have the experience of a police officer, but this is not just a layman's view either. Something is off here. I just don't know, Miranda, what it is, but I'm praying for the president with everything I have, because when I see blood behind the president's ear, and I see him go down the way he did and as shooken up as he was, Miranda, that is a frightening scene to watch unfold.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there are so many questions and there are answers right now, and we don't want to get ahead of things. We want the facts to be laid out.
Come on, shift your screen.
We are merely speculating right now, but I think you're right when you say, I mean, we can all agree that there was a security lapse. That's a given right now, granted, as
There
what's
you
happened
go.
to the president, which again, we still don't know exactly. We just know that he was whisked off. But you're right, it did strike me as well that there were some people not in a panic and some people just being allowed to go. And I would think, you know, if the president had just been, if there was an attempted assassination on President
Damn right,
Trump's
Trusty.
life, that there were gunshots and that he wasn't the only one being injured, then you would secure the scene and everybody would
Could be
remain
held,
in place.
yes.
Maybe I'm wrong.
So the other aspect of this, if it's not gunshots, if it's not somehow small explosives, could it have been something electrical on the stage? We don't know. That something happened there because, Miranda, I will tell you, when you have a former president, soon to be the new president, I've watched President Trump's motorcades. I've been, as you have.
Yeah, them are guaranteed for a civil war.
They are treating him as the next president of the United States, the Secret Service.
It's completely cleaned
Not
out.
secure
This place was
the
packed.
entire grounds as a crime scene now.
Packed.
Not stop everyone from coming and going because you don't know
Yeah.
who could be part of this.
Camera
or
look
not
familiar?
Part of this. Every single person there would need to be questioned from a law enforcement perspective. To me, that seems like something that would be out of the ordinary. Those people in there needed to either be evacuated if it was an active threat, or they needed to be secured and talked to, and evidence needed to be collected of what people had on phones. Names and numbers needed to be collected. People needed to be talked to. This is a crime scene, and I don't see that happening there from what I was looking at least from our vantage point.
That's what I was saying. Why are they allowing everybody just
I
to
think you're 100%
cattle out of there?
correct. That's what struck me right away. Like, wait a minute, you know, we don't know if anyone's in custody. There were witnesses there. Why are you trying to rush everybody out the way if there's possibly still a threat? Because again, the reports are, and you know, we were hearing it. I'm not a gun expert as much as you are, and you said it yourself. Like, I'm not an investigator. Again, we're just people that have been reporters who've been on the ground. We've seen this sadly play out, maybe not like this, but this seems odd. It seems off, like you just said, that they would want to secure the area.
And just real quick, Dr. Ruth died earlier today. The little Romanian, I think she was from Romania, something like that, 4'8" sex doctor. All through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, Dr. Ruth. And then Richard Simmons died here just a little while ago.
Not once, but
So a little breaking
multiple
news on some
times. And so if something like this were to happen, it does
media
raise some serious questions.
entertainment
Jeff
deaths.
Sobek brought that up. He said that this wasn't a safe place to be at anyway.
I do believe that it would be very difficult to get a firearm into an event like this. Not
Hey, Noah.
impossible, but difficult. The rate of speed the shots were fired.
They forced Artie Ojeda to retire.
Caliber fire. If we had
They are still terrified. I'm gonna sue NBC, which I've got the lawsuit pending.
Video of when President Trump originally goes down. If there's any way we have the ability to play it and let me listen to it again, because I've only gotten to hear it one time since I've
We
come
don't
on
have
air.
the sound. We don't have the sound yet. We do have the video. I'm being told we also have Jack Posobiec, again, host of Human Events.
I've listened to the sound. It was gunshots.
Grant Stenchfield, obviously with Stenchfield tonight, tuning in. Brian Glenn, I'm sure, has been possibly asked to leave. I think right now we're going to try to get back in touch with him. But again, if you're just tuning in, I want to play that video, and then I want both of you gentlemen to
There you go.
kind of
You guys can
chime
watch it
in
right
there.
now.
But if you're just tuning in, oh, okay, they're going to get that video. Again, we know that what appeared to be shots.
There's got to be
were
breaking
fired
news on regular.
as President Trump took to the stage just a few minutes into his speech. This was in Butler,
There's
Pennsylvania.
no way they're gonna not be having this on regular. They have to have this on breaking. Oh yeah. Yep. Told you. Yep. Oh, there it is, right there. Holy shit! Holy shit! Look at that.
He felt the sting on his right, probably his right ear. There's bleachers behind him that are filled, with supporters.
Oh, dude.
But he kind of
is.
looks to his right. Now, it doesn't mean that the shot was directly to his right, that came directly from his right. It's just he had hit him on the...
Take a look what happened.
See, you can hear the shots.
There you see it, Jim.
Yeah.
You can hear the shots. Now the question is who back here got shot, because he got shot in the ear, so someone back here had to have gotten shot.
Some very late breaking news.
Jose, Secret Service spokesperson just posted on X saying an incident occurred the evening of July 13th at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. The Secret Service has implemented protective measures and the former president is safe. This is now an active Secret Service investigation, and further information will be released when available. Again, that is from the Secret Service. Everyone just absorbing what has occurred and unfolded in Pennsylvania. We're also getting reaction from a number of the vice presidential potential picks of former President
Let the Civil War begin, ladies and gentlemen.
The Republican National Convention is just days away from getting underway, set to begin on Monday. Senator Rubio posting praying for President Trump and all those attending the rally in Pennsylvania today. Senator Vance, everyone join me in praying for our President Trump and everyone at that rally. I hope everyone
Look at
is
him.
okay.
Look how mad and defiant he is. Look how mad he is.
Praying for President Trump, his family, and everyone attending the rally today. Carrie Lake, of course, Senate candidate, posting please.
Look how
pray for
mad he
President
is.
Trump. So, reaction just beginning to pour in from the political world. Of course, as Peter just reported, President Biden has been briefed. This is the scenario that everyone, of course, feared and was trying to protect against. Certainly as we head toward the conventions this summer, security is in the spotlight.
President Trump was an assassination attempt was just made on President Trump.
Republican nominee, and the questions, of course, will go on from there. How to prevent this from ever happening again. But again, the political world just beginning to absorb what has transpired.
Fuck you, Joe Biden.
In Pennsylvania, sources, of course, on both sides of the
He has the Holy Spirit with him, or else he'd be dead. What are you talking about?
Shocked how in disbelief they are at what has unfolded, Jose.
Indeed, Kristen Walker, please stay with us. I want to go back to
If the Holy Spirit wasn't there just to bump that thing this much, he'd have been shot in the eye. He'd have been shot in the head. This much we're talking about. That's a wind drift. That's a breeze that a professional sniper didn't account for.
Former President Donald J. Trump is expected to survive whatever incident this is. So that's the first thing. As far as what this was, what type of incident it is, what might have happened, those are all details that law enforcement is trying to get a handle on. Was this a projectile Was it a ricochet? Was it something that's not a gun? Could have been some other sort of device. Could have been anything else. We just don't know. It's just far too soon to say. And if anybody is in custody, who that person or persons might be and why they did this, all very much a question.
Well, no, all I can be with it. And listen,
It's 6:47 Eastern
whoever's
Time.
God
We're doing a lot
that
of
you
reporting.
decide to believe in,
Law enforcement,
good for
US
you.
Secret Service trying to get a handle on it, as you can imagine. Federal law enforcement agencies, and I'm including my.
And if he didn't have the Holy Spirit with him, he'd have been dead right now.
Federal law enforcement agencies.
Yeah, my phone's blowing up. We're probably going to end this in a couple minutes.
And are standing by to provide any sort of information or do any sort of investigative work, depending upon what they might find. Of course, there'll be questions about security. If this was in fact an intentional act, there'll be questions about the what and the why. But right now, I think folks are still trying to get a handle on the details, the most important of which, just so people understand the current condition of the former president, is that he is expected to survive.
Tom Winter, thank you very much. Stay with us. I want to go to Hallie Jackson, who has an update from the Trump campaign. Hallie?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Spokesperson, I'm going to read you this statement in full as obtained by our colleague Garrett Haake. That President Trump thanks law enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. The spokesperson goes on to say he is fine and being checked out at a local medical facility. That is it for now. We do expect more details to follow. But obviously significant now as we're looking at some of these images here, Jose, of the former president being escorted off stage, that he is, in the words of the campaign, he is fine. He is apparently not seriously injured based on what they are telling us and is obviously being looked at now by doctors. It is an extraordinary moment, to say the least, here, that we are on the eve of the Republican National Convention, that for the presumptive Republican nominee, this has occurred, whatever this is, at a campaign rally.
God,
just days before he
my
said
phone's
officially
blowing
accept
up.
the nomination. We want to be super careful here because there's still a lot we don't know about motivation, but I will just echo what some of my colleagues have said here, having been to many of these kinds of rallies. There is a security perimeter in place for any time
there we
you
go.
go to an event with
Thanks.
any
I know.
current or former
I'm sure I've got a mod in
There are
here.
flags, there is security,
Thank you.
There's a perimeter, and it is usually, obviously, always pretty intense. And so there are going to be a lot of questions here moving forward as to how this could have happened as we're looking at these very dramatic visuals now from photographers who are lined up right there on stage in Butler, Pennsylvania. We have seen a lot of reaction coming in. I know that Kristen
Look how
was with
mad
some of
he
it
is.
from people like
Look how
Mike Pence,
mad
who
he
obviously already
is.
saying that they are praying
Look
for
how
the former
fucking
president. As
mad
you see
he
him in his
is.
face as he's holding up his hand, that shot that we have been replaying here, Jose. But again,
He's
the word
pissed.
from the Trump campaign, he is fine, they say.
No, he's not
Currently
fine.
being
He's
checked out.
fucking
We'll update
angry.
The second we get anything more.
Hallie Jackson, thank you very much.
You talk about
Back to
bombing
Dasha
Pearl
Burns,
Harbor.
who was at that Trump rally north of Pittsburgh and has new reporting. She joins us on the phone. She was asked to
You fucking
leave
Democrats.
the area as it is considered a crime scene.
You fucking Democrats.
Yeah, Jose, that's right. Everyone has now been evacuated. That includes candidates, staff, that includes the press as well. We have our crew has been brought together.
Nice connection. Yeah, you can show that. Yeah. Come on. This ain't Howard Stern. Dump him. If the phone's not working, dump him.
The public or even a member who is an elected official.
Dasha.
You are screened.
I'm so sorry. I just can't. We're not able to make out exactly what you're saying. It is a very chaotic scene where you are. The communications are difficult. We're going to try to reestablish a better line of communication with Dasha Burns. I want to go back to Peter Alexander. Peter, any word from the White House?
Jose, no new information from the White House right now, but I do want to share some information we are receiving from the Democratic governor of the state of Pennsylvania, where this incident, this shooting, appears to have taken place only a short time ago. Governor Josh Shapiro writes, "Violence targeted at any political party or political leader is absolutely unacceptable." He says it has no place in Pennsylvania or the United States. He says he has been briefed on the situation by Pennsylvania State Police. He says he's been briefed on the situation, says that Pennsylvania State Police are on the scene in Butler County where this took place and are working with our federal and local partners. Again, those are the words of Governor Josh Shapiro, the Democratic governor of the state of Pennsylvania. So that's just the latest information we're getting from there. Again, we are reaching out to the staff at the White House right now.
You can hear the gunshots still going off.
Traveling. He is in Delaware right now. The reporters, the pool that travels with him, we are told by reporters they are being kept inside the vans that they normally travel in a safe distance away from his home. But that is the latest in terms of the information that we have, Jose.
Peter Alexander, thank you so very much as we continue our coverage.
Somebody back here had to have gotten shot.
Jose, thank you very much as we continue to cover the events here. I want to go to Dasha Burns. Dasha was in the crowd covering this event. I think we've reestablished your signal. Dasha, do you hear us okay?
Yeah, Lester, I'm on a better line, I think. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Lester, I will tell you what transpired is the former president was just starting his rally. He was only a few minutes into his speech. He was talking about immigration under President Biden. I and our team were up on the press risers as he first started speaking. We were just taking
Throw the podium away.
Those risers. We were heading to the ground level where all of the attendees were on the grass in the field at this venue when we heard what initially I thought might have been fireworks. The Trump rallies often involve pyrotechnics. Sometimes
it's funny. You're fired. You changed it to shots fired.
There was confusion, shock, surprise for myself being there personally, but also as I looked around to the crowd and everyone around us. My producer, Bianca, and I then realized that it might be something more serious as we heard those consecutive pop, pop, pops that you could hear on the video. We took cover behind some stage equipment. We looked around to make sure that our colleagues were in a safe position as we saw the entire audience, all of the attendees, get down on the ground. You could, of course, see in that video.
Civil War is about to be here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what this is how. Say, there you go.
Then, when the former president, you see him in that video rising up, he holds his hand up in the air. The audience started to cheer. There were some chants of USA, USA. Still,
look how mad he is.
A lot of confusion.
He is angry. He got shot.
Eventually, reason on the phone with you, we were evacuated as well. So, Lester, at this point, I will tell you that venue is empty aside from law enforcement, Secret Service, Trump, Capricorn, attendees are gone. The press is gone.
Oh yeah, look, it grazed the side of his head on his ear. You can clearly see the bullet.
The security at these events.
The line of sight that it took.
So confusing and surprising and shocking for us all. Of course, this is what everyone fears when it comes to the heated political environment that we are in. We don't know what exactly happened, what transpired, but people fear political violence.
All right, Dasha, goodbye.
Scary for all
You're losing your phone.
Was there. But every rally that I have ever been to, Lester, because of that concern, is thoroughly protected.
Somebody back here had to have taken that round.
Whether you're a member of the public, even elected officials are screened. Every item that you are
I'm watching her lay down.
Looked at by a member of security. There is a pretty strict protocol about what you can and cannot bring in.
She got up. There's another lady laying down right there behind him.
So many precautions taken to prevent any sort of violence, any sort of unsafe situation. And we are now safe with this moment into this rally, Jose.
Dasha, let me ask you, you and others, I think, have described multiple shots fired. First of all, do we know anyone of the crowd, anyone who was there? Has anyone been hit? And also, what do we know about the shooter?
We don't know, as far as, from my vantage point, where those shots came from. It's a really large venue, Lester, and it was hard to tell exactly where the shots were coming from. I thought I saw some smoke on the right-hand side of the stage, but again, the Trump rallies often have those sorts of special effects, so it wasn't clear if that had to do with those shots or not. I talked to, in my chaotic moment.
Oh yeah, no, he's angry. Look at him. He is pissed. You talk about bombing Pearl Harbor. You talk about awakening the bear.
People were slowly shooting up. the emotional landscape of
the political
those
ramifications
moments,
from
those
this,
10 to
ladies
15
and
minutes,
gentlemen,
Lester, was
are
really
going to be
tumultuous. Went
huge.
from a very celebratory
The fact that the Democratic Party,
there was music playing just before the former president.
they got the shooter, Joe? How do you know that? Are you getting that from another source? Fox, CNN, ABC, CBS?
It went from excitement to confusion.
This guy's pissed. He's all, fuck you.
This was part of the show or not. And then when people saw the former president get down, everyone got down. Sudden fear, shock, chaos, confusion. Then there were cheers.
You went to another feed? Yeah. I could,
that some members of the crowd started to turn on the press for a few minutes there, shouting at everyone. That is somewhat typical of Trump rally.
All right, Rachel Scott for us again with those remarkable moments as they played out. And these images as well, with the former president pumping his fist, what appears to be, well, again, we're not sure, can't confirm what appears to be blood dripping down his face, and the cheers of the crowd as Donald Trump got back up onto his feet. And was
look at that facial expression.
Service. Let's bring in our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, who's been watching all of this. And Pierre, time and time again, you've been talking about the political threat level, the environment in this country for months. Again, still a lot of information that we're waiting to get here, Pierre. But talk about what your law enforcement sources are telling you. And we're also getting more information about the former president's condition.
Indeed. I've talked to a number of sources, and one thing that they're fairly comfortable saying is that they do not believe that former President Trump sustained any sort of life-threatening injury. They are being very careful about what they can release until they can get a more full accounting. Officials in Washington reaching out to the authorities there. We're told that the White House has been briefed. President Biden has been briefed.
Mr. Gino, you have no idea what's about to take place in this country.
So right now, law enforcement is converging, trying to get information because, as you said, with the threat environment right now is critically high. Law enforcement super worried about the potential of violence, and they're being careful right now because they don't have all the details. But that has been in the backdrop for days now. Security for the conventions will be super high, in part because of concerns about incidents like this, whatever this turns out to be.
And Pierre, to your point, it's worth pointing out this response that we got from a Trump spokesperson, too, because they said that President Trump, after thanking law enforcement and first responders, they said...
Damn right it's scary.
...a heinous act.
Dude, this is going to unhinge a lot of right-wing radicals who stand by Trumpy and the MAGA movement.
I understand you're getting word from the governor of Pennsylvania.
Yes, we're getting a wide range of reaction. And
fuck you, John Carl. You're a bitch. You're a bitch.
The statement that we heard from the Secret Service, very important because this is the bottom line here. The Secret Service has implemented protective measures and the former president is safe. So yes, no life-threatening wounds. The former president is safe. That's what we're hearing from the
Fuck you, John Carl. You're a scumbag.
From the Trump campaign. We are also hearing from the governor of Pennsylvania, who, by the way, is a Democrat, the governor
you guys,
he's been briefed on the situation.
For those of you that are new here to me, I've been telling people for years that this election cycle was going to go, and here it is. It's going to go like nothing's ever been seen before in this political environment. I've been saying it for years, ladies and gentlemen. That my moderators that were here, they will verify this. This is as desperate as they are.
Violence has no place in our democracy. My thoughts are with President Trump, Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, dude. See, I'm 60. I'm a JFK baby. I'm literally a JFK baby.
Bipartisan statements of concern for former President Trump and
no, Harry, you're wrong about that.
Steve Scalise. This one's also interesting as you remember, Congressman Steve Scalise.
No, these people sound like me, kiddo.
himself.
I've been in front of a microphone since the late 80s, early 90s. I started my media career in 1992 in a station in Los Angeles. Alex Jones, all these people, they've been copying me.
For President Donald Trump, there is never any place for political violence. So as you can see, across the political spectrum, condemnations of whatever has happened here.
Sauce man, yeah, just keep showing up here with some consistencies, brother. My moderators, and I've only got a few of them, they've hung with me since day one.
Because I do think that the wording here is interesting from the various statements that.
But yeah, you sure can.
That statement saying the former president is safe. The Trump
Put a couple comments in some videos so I can look at your channel and see what your views and political views are, and what your social media is about.
We're trying to kind of read between the lines here, and we don't want to speculate, but you work with the Trump campaign all the time and communicating with them. What does that say to you about this level of communication right now?
Well, frankly, my sense is that the Trump campaign is doing, the individuals there that we're speaking to are basically doing exactly.
I don't want to show John Carl. He's a punk.
To get more information. And in a situation like this, the first priority for the Secret Service is to make sure the president is safe, to get him to safety, and then to treat him. Their first priority is not getting us information. So we've gotten the very basic information, which is that he is safe. They have implemented further protective measures, and that the injuries.
Motherfuckers.
But beyond that, we just don't know. And frankly, I think even those very close to Donald Trump at this point are trying to get further detail about exactly.
Lots of thumbs up, people. Lots of thumbs up. I'm trying to beat the cancel culture of YouTube.
Communicating with the Trump campaign. John, you were with us earlier. What more are you learning tonight?
Members of Donald Trump's family, so far as I understand it, have not spoken to the former president directly, according to my sources. They have been receiving calls and updates from people that were on the ground with the former president, and also, I'm told, received briefings from the Secret Service. Remember,
yeah,
these are
awesome. We can see it.
As we were talking about earlier with John Carl, the fact that Donald Trump has had Secret Service protection for so many years, so many of these agents have been around the former president, his children, for nearly a decade. So there is a very close relationship.
Yeah, Possum, I know you got a little side with. We don't block messages here. Well, we do if you talk about my animals.
If you will. I can also tell you that for the most part, there is a.
Yeah, you're good. My moderators, we're very open here. I like debate. I like communication. Just when the social media troglodytes who've been stalking me for years, for 5 years now, start talking about my pets and kidnapping and killing them, then you'll get bounced. My moderators know where to go. They know the limits of what you're allowed to talk to here. For the most part, it's anything and everything.
Many of them are either getting ready to or already on the ground out in Milwaukee preparing for the start of the Republican convention. I will just say a little bit because I think it's important, and you and I talked about this earlier.
On site 16. Well, they tried to.
Last week, Donald Trump has been in one of the best moves of late.
Potato tried to vacate his guilty plea. Sorry. He tried to vacate the guilty plea. And the judge told him to kick rocks.
His vice presidential pick. Now, of course, that didn't happen because of what would happen on site, but I also can tell you that Donald Trump has said he wanted to keep this grand reveal to Monday when the convention.
That's right, Jason.
But nevertheless, I do just think it speaks.
Is that going to go? I'm trying to show it. Oh, there you go.
Going into this rally. We know from all of our years of.
Yeah, on site 16, you got those last two letters wrong. It should be JB. Fuck Joe Biden, not Donald Trump. Dementia Joe's got to go.
These events are so guarded by the Secret Service, and anybody that comes into them, of course, going through magnetometers, going through screening.
Correct, he is a predator. Yeah.
Are going to have to imagine, even for Donald
He's also a sellout. Listen, the money between Ukraine and Russia and all the crap that's been, I'm sorry, China.
what I'm hearing from my
Yeah, Nipsey Hussle, he's badass.
how a Donald Trump rally changes going forward. And, I was reminded by a colleague of ours there have been scares before at rallies of Donald Trump. People have yelled things. I was at a rally once, almost positive it was in Las Vegas, where someone yelled gun, and the president, at that time, candidate Trump, was rushed off stage in 2016. But never have we seen something like this that has caused such a scare, such an alarm for the former president and his family.
Yeah, regardless of what happened here, as we're watching these images come through, they are quite remarkable and frightening, given the political environment that we've been in lately. Let's go back to the White House, because Mary Alice Parks, I understand you're getting word from Hakeem Jeffries.
Well, we just saw a statement, obviously, from the highest-ranking Democrat there in the House. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries put out a statement saying, "My thoughts and prayers are with the
Kanye, 2024.
Law enforcement response. America is a democracy. Political violence of any kind is never acceptable." I know you've been talking to John Carl and others about some of the other Democrats that, of course, been weighing in. This goes beyond partisan politics. People in Washington, of course, across the political spectrum, hoping and making sure that the former president is okay, and congratulating law enforcement like Hakeem
There it is,
Jeffries
right there. Never surrender. Right
for
there.
decisive response. I can tell you that here on the White House campus, Secret Service very tight-lipped, which is their standard posture. They don't talk to us about security protocol. That's a part of their protocol, to keep their plans to themselves. That's a part of how they keep presidents safe.
Secret
White
Service.
House campus is not on lockdown. There are still tours going on. Is it
Googling me? Googling me.
I can tell you they've pushed back the perimeter at the White House. There is not protesters or tourists walking on.
Okay. Well, first I'm going to take a
But that happens from time to time.
screenshot of that.
Not confirmed that they did that in response to this incident, but I will tell you it happened right around
as soon as that clears out, then you're about to get bounced.
President in Delaware said that they
Let's see here.
noticed what seemed to them to be a heightened security protocol.
Hide user on this channel.
In Delaware, he's at his residence.
Bye bye, Hart. Told you, dummy.
Expected. I would imagine there would be absolutely a heightened.
You'll never be allowed to post on here again.
But like I said, the Secret Service does not normally talk to us about their plans, how they work to keep the president safe, and at this point they are being very tight-lipped about what happened.
Yeah, again, unclear exactly what the heightened...
Hart, you'll never be allowed to comment on my channel again. Told you.
Incident like this happens across the board. We see changes made to law enforcement and additional protections.
I guess I should have put an addendum about my pets. Is that you start talking about other people's kids, then you're definitely fucked. You're definitely out of here. No, he got hit. He got shot in the ear. There's Rachel. God, she's hot.
First you think like maybe firecrackers, but it continued, and then somebody yelled, "Get down." We got down, and we huddled, and we started praying. And we just started praying, and thank God, a little while later, we got up. When we saw other people get up, we saw Trump get up, raise his fist like I'm okay, and we kept praying. We kept praying, but I got a birthday card to Trump right before his birthday, Flag Day, and right before I said I got a card to him. Security was going to give it to him here, and it in the card it said that George Washington.
So you kept praying, and what about you? How did you feel when you heard those sounds? What did you do?
I felt really bad. I'm worried about our grandchildren. What kind of life are they going to have if this goes on, if people don't have the right to say what they want?
You told me that you were near the very front. You weren't very far.
No, we were like from here to where that thing is.
Oh, there she was right there in the picture.
And you got down, you said you got down immediately?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody yelled, "Get down." My daughter-in-law, Lisa, she said for us to hurry up and get down. And she called her husband because he was standing right by
Okay, I'm getting alerts now that the FBI does have a suspect officially in custody.
It's a scary situation when someone does something like that. So you don't have you don't, how can I say it?
Not to change subject, but Rachel Scott sure is hot.
To be able to have freedom and everything, but this was just sad for a lot of people. It was.
Well, we're happy you both are okay. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Please get home safe. And so that is just a little bit of the
Rachel can't get away from the other crazy broad.
From a lot of the Trump supporters. Those two people that I just talked to, one woman told me that she was here with her family. They were very close to the stage. She said that all she just heard were just get down, and they said immediately they just started praying, hoping that everything was going to be okay. They were in the front. They are just now.
So the old lady she was just talking to was literally standing. Oh, there she. Well,
being able to escort.
that's her. Well, there. Yeah, that was her right over there.
Because you had a lot of the elderly people who gathered here, elderly Trump supporters who sat in those front rows, are just sort of making their way out now, being escorted out. But everyone that I've been talking to, as they're leaving, they're still shaken up. They're asking us if we know what had happened. Everyone's checking on each other, asking if one another is okay. This is a crowd that's still visibly shaken up. And I think that she made a really good point, Whit, because at these rallies, the former president's podium is not far away from the crowd. Donald Trump is someone who loves a big crowd. He loves these rallies. He wants to feel his supporters very close to him. And so those pops were very ringing for a lot of those Trump supporters that were there. We all heard them. Our press riser was not very far off as well. And then immediately everyone just took cover until we were able to finally get up and leave that area with.
Rachel Scott, once again, and while we don't know exactly what happened, we do know for sure it was a frightening and chaotic moment for all the people who were there, and Rachel bringing that to us from those witnesses who are in the
Oh
crowd.
yeah, they missed, but not by much. Because if the top of his ear is shot, I mean, it only takes this much more, and that's in your eyeball, that's in your eye socket, and then in your brain, and you're done.
Also, former chief of staff under former President Trump, and Ryan's, just your take on these images and what you're seeing today,
Ryan's priest,
and what people within the Trump campaign are telling you now. Ryan's Priebus, this is Whit in New York. Can you hear me?
Nope.
All right, forgive us for having some technical difficulties as we're trying to reach Ryan's Priebus. Let's go back to John Carl once again in Milwaukee, our chief Washington correspondent. John's there ready to cover the Republican National Convention. The news, John, in the next 48 hours was supposed to be who was going to be
2024 Republican.
And we were going over the short list of candidates.
Oh, you talk about Benny Johnson and Ben Shapiro being pissed. You talk about Tucker Carlson. Holy shit. I can only imagine what their social media feeds are going to be right now.
And by the way, separately, this event is one of the most secure places in the country right now, as they have basically fortified the entire area for several blocks around this convention center. And what we just noticed over the last 10 minutes or so is some kind of apparently military helicopter kind of circling above. I'm sure this place is already secure before what happened today. But you can imagine the level of concern just got ramped up even more so. But look, this is a shocking event. I mentioned to you a short while ago that I was on the floor of the convention talking to the Republican National Committee Chairman, Michael Whatley, when this news broke. He got a phone call, came in, and quickly rushed off the floor. Everybody trying to figure out what happened. We do have a full statement from the Trump campaign. We had some of this information earlier, but now a full statement from the Trump campaign.
No, White, it ain't fake.
Enforcement and first responders for their quick action during this heinous act. He is fine. Important words. He is fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. More details to follow. That is from Steve Chung, a spokesperson for the Trump campaign.
That ain't fake.
Matches what we have heard from the
That ain't fake. You can see the gunshot right there, the gunshot wound across his ear.
The former president is safe. And it's very important to point out that we still at this point don't know exactly what happened. We don't even know for sure if the popping noise that everybody assumes.
Yeah, my other phone is going off.
We can't confirm that was gunfire. We know, we saw those incredibly dramatic pictures. We see the blood coming from the former president's ear. We don't know what that's from. I mean, it's possible. You remember, he has a whole phalanx of Secret Service agents who are essentially jumping on him and bringing him down. It's quite possible he could have been injured in some way during the process of the Secret Service protecting him from more severe injury. So we just don't know. But the fact that this incident happened on live TV, that you hear the popping, it seems to be apparent gunfire. I have in my hands just a raft of statements from political leaders across the political spectrum condemning the very idea of political violence and hoping for the
Doesn't matter.
praying for the
Dude, you don't
safety
shoot
of the
anything
president, who we now hear both from the Secret
at our
Service and from his
political.
campaign appears to be safe and doing fine.
That looks more than a BB shot.
Some resonance beyond the others is from Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who of course is mounting a third-party campaign for president. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., of course, was
You're a punk, John Carl.
What happened to his father during the 1968 Democratic primary when he was assassinated just after the California primary. RFK Jr. putting out a statement saying, quote, "Now is the time for every American who loves our country to step back from the division, renounce all violence, and unite in prayer."
Whatever it was, dude. He got shot. That ain't fake blood. That's not a fake wound. That's not a fake wound. And still, if it was just this much over and it hit him in the eye, that'd have gone in the brain.
John Carl, once again, thank you. I do want to go back to Rachel Scott, who's still there in Pennsylvania, outside the venue where all of this occurred. Rachel, you've been talking to witnesses, people who were there at that rally.
Last 5 minutes, folks. We'll hear Rachel, and then we're probably going to end it here.
People are still mingling around here, waiting to leave this area. This is Gabby. Gabby, you told me you were in the second row. Yeah. Describe what you saw.
I think well, I mean, I saw like all the like Secret Service like kind of cover Trump. They did a really good job about that, making sure he was protected, telling everyone to get down. So I think they did take a good care of like making sure everyone was like understanding what was going on and like being serious but not freaking everybody out.
What was your initial reaction when you heard those popping noises?
To get down. Yeah, so I actually like my boyfriend pushed me on the ground and like went on top of me, which was like really nice. But I think,
so that's her right there.
I think we're a little like too shocked to understand what was going on originally, for sure. But I think everyone listened pretty well and it was handled pretty well.
Did you see some of that commotion that was playing out on the other side of the bleacher where we saw law enforcement agents sort of swarm around another individual, or did you ultimately just rush out?
No, we were there for a minute because they did tell us to go back down again just in case. I think that was good because it helped like calm people down. But I think one of the stands that I was next to, they did like carry out a man, and there was another one that might have been injured. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely one at least. And on the other stand on the other side, because I was on the right, on the left, there were like a bunch of like men in uniform like surrounding someone, so that was interesting to see.
You said that you were very impressed by the speed in which Secret Service
Goofles.
get on
Hey, buddy.
stage within seconds of all
Goofies. Hi, puppy. Hi, buddy. You a happy dog?
I definitely felt protected.
Are you a happy dog?
The sniper
Hi,
was
buddy.
on it, watching on guard. Everyone on the scene like did a great job. I mean, like
There's the star of the show right there. Goofles.
I never
Goofles,
felt
come
like
here.
I was like in danger,
Happy dog.
which is cool. They were on
Happy
president,
dog.
which I'm very thankful of, and they did a great job like protecting him and getting him out as quick as possible. He is doing good, which is good. Yeah.
We all felt that moment for a minute where we all rushed down.
Yeah.
We were all taking cover, and then it was panic that set in. And then after a minute, we all popped up and we saw the former president. He was being escorted off the stage, and he kind of raised his fist, pumping it up in the air as he was being escorted off that riser and back into his vehicle. What did you make of that?
Actually, I had the honor of being right in front when they were escorting. So the exit that they were taking, I was right in front of, and I got to see him like putting his fist up and everything. That was really awesome to see. Like even relieved, also like having such a good, strong, like charisma about him, even in a hard time.
Thank you, Duncan.
Can I just ask you,
Rescue dog.
now being on this
Hot
island,
mess. No one wanted him.
out of this area, how are you feeling?
Stayed curled up at the pound and didn't want to leave. Didn't want to get walked. Nothing. He was abused as a puppy.
All over the country to come to events like this, and within minutes we heard those popping noises, and that rally was over.
They did a great job escorting everybody. I mean, I'm probably one of the few that are like, I'm so glad I was here and got to witness this. I thought they did a great job, and I was really appreciative of it. Any like security or police that I've seen, I've tried to like go up and congratulate them, because like that's a hard job, and like you have to be
and like
times, like that kind of thing. So it's
and
really
like
cool
that
to, like,
and
see
like
them actually get to do their job, and they did a great job. And I mean, I'm still here for now. Gotta wait for my ride, but I feel fine. Yeah, they did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, we so appreciate it. So that is just the scene that's playing out here. We still have a number of Trump supporters that are making their way out. There were obviously hundreds and hundreds of people here.
Rachel Scott, such a babe.
As I mentioned before, cell phone service can be a little tough in that area, so people are finally starting to get cell phone service, make their way back to their vehicles. But every Trump supporter that we have talked to, sharing that sense of relief, hearing that the former president is okay, but also that sense of gratitude, Whit, for Secret Service. For
all right, boys and girls, thank you very much. We've been here for an hour. We know what's going on. You all can see the rest of the news. You all can cover it around the country.
We're getting some significant developments right
No.
now.
Oh, hang on.
District Attorney of Butler County telling ABC News the shooter is dead.
Oh.
Also, there's more here saying that one bystander is confirmed dead. And
Oh.
a second bystander dead as well.
No.
And that's from the District Attorney, Richard Goldinger.
Holy shit.
Telling ABC News the shooter is dead. So this is the first time that we've had any
Holy shit.
source that shots were fired. And now learning that there are potentially, again, according to the DA, some fatalities.
Shut up, Locks. You're a clown.
At the Trump rally.
He doesn't want anything to do with me.
Let's go back to our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, you've been talking to your law enforcement sources. This is a major event.
Okay, so 2 are dead, and so 3 are dead. 1 shooter and 2.
Who is the chief prosecutor for that area, that a bystander is dead and that the so-called shooter is dead as well, greatly enhances the concern that law enforcement would have about this situation. We've been with the Secret Service in recent days, with working with them, looking at their security plan for both conventions, the RNC.
Holy shit. Okay, we all got the news, ladies and gentlemen. So the shooter is dead, and apparently 1 or 2 other Trump supporters are dead as well.
All their training was geared toward dealing with events like this. They showed us the training of how they would move the president in the event of an attack. They showed what would happen.
All right, everyone. Go jump on the rest of your news cycles wherever you guys get your news. Peace out, everyone. Thanks, everybody, for showing up here. We've been here an hour. We know what's going on. Peace and love from the Dubs. Let's. I'm pretty sure civil war is imminent in this country, so I might be going live later. I'll fire the rest of the studio up, and we'll do it later on tonight. Thanks, everyone. God bless America. Make America great again.
Potentially somebody else.